What's going on, guys? We are talking Jordan Peele's Get Out. Welcome to Think About It Reviews, and everybody has been talking about this film, Get Out, by Jordan Peele. He directed it, he wrote it. I mean, this guy, Jordan Peele, is the other tag team member of Key and Peele. They used to be in the comedy show, and they did Keanu not too long ago. And I'm not too big of a fan with these two. I mean, I think their work is fine. It's whatever. I mean, Dave Chappelle did it first. Did he? Going into this film, I seen some of the trailers, right? I saw some of the trailers. And I was like, okay, what was this? Is definitely kind of like a horror kind of film, but maybe it's like a horror comedy kind of film. You get a little bit of that. You get a little bit of comedy in here with a lot of the horror kind of themes, a lot of the horror. I don't want to really necessarily say tropes, but that feel to it. And I gotta say, watching this film, and not spoiling it, because I feel like if you get spoiled in this film, it ruins a lot of what this film has to offer. But going straight into it, after watching the whole film, after hearing everybody praise it, I mean, they didn't go into full detail, they just said it was a really great movie. I have to agree. This is a really, really good movie. Jordan Peele shocked me, man. He shocked the hell out of me. The direction in this film, that was the one thing that I loved about this film. How so well executed this film is. I mean, the shots, the flow of the film, the tone of the film. I mean, it's a beautiful looking film. There's some just angles he takes. There's some shots that he takes that just really makes the story really flow and makes it interesting. And it's not, I mean, there was one particular shot where I bet you any other director would have close-ups of the main character named Chris finally meeting his girlfriend's parents, Rose, and they would have close-ups. You know, they have the dialogue in there, they have close-ups in it, but no, when they meet her parents, that shot is a faraway shot. It's establishing a lot of the area. So that's what I love about this film, is that they know they can go certain ways, especially with the writing. They know they can go this certain way, but they decide not to. If you don't know about what this film is all about, this film is about Chris. He is a black man, of course, in an interracial relationship with Rose, and he's finally going to meet Rose's parents, and they live in kind of like this white suburbs, but really recluse. They live outside, kind of in a forest area. He meets her parents. Her mom is actually a psychologist, or she does hypnotism, so to speak, and a lot of things that he sees throughout the household and their servants or people who work for them, like, things are not what it seems. And you're just trying to like kind of figure that was maybe the one problem I had with the film. I feel like it's predictable. I feel like a lot of things that I thought was going to happen ends up happening, especially the big twist at the end. I knew something was really off when I picked up the clues. I picked up the hints just thrown in your face. I still think this movie was just done really freaking well. And the storyline and the concept of the story, if you think throughout this film, I was thinking like, okay, this is kind of a funny plot, but it works so well for this film because it's executed so well as it is. The acting in here really kind of, it could be played as goofy, but it doesn't. I was surprised that I didn't laugh and it wasn't as goofy as I thought it was going to be, because there is some very humorous and funny moments, especially Chris's friend, who I believe he works at the airport or something like that, and he's hilarious, man. This guy comes off so freaking funny, and he's the guy that the audience relates to. The audience says, why are you doing, like, he straight out tells Chris, what the hell are you doing over there? You know, he just made me laugh. He made me laugh every time he's on there. It was kind of weird how the tonal shifts, like the tone would be a lot of horror, but then it bring in a little bit of comedy in there to really, and then to go back to kind of like this horror kind of tone. But I felt like it worked really well. I felt like it just wasn't jarring. I memean, when you first had that scene with him talking to his buddy, yeah, it's a little bit like, oh, whoa, now where's this going now? But it worked. They already established that scene, and it works throughout the whole film. So, and they set up a lot of things throughout this film that really, really, really work. It really just reminded me of these classic films, you know, these classics, kind of Twilight. Twilight Zone, if that makes sense. It really reminded me of something that's kind of, it should be normal, but it's odd, and there's something hidden within the messages if you look closely. So it really reminded me of like a Twilight episode, but the visuals, in that one particular moment, where it's just a guy running towards Chris. I mean, the visuals on that is absolutely outstanding. You see that a lot in different horror films, but the way they capture that moment and the cinematography, it was so well executed. Some of the things they use for these characters and how the rules that comes to play in this film, it just really overall just worked all over the place. I can't really find anything that is bad about this film. I mean, I think everybody's just gonna enjoy it. Everybody has enjoyed it. So if anything, I guess the music in the very beginning and like through the score was a little kind of Willy Wonka to me. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it takes back to the classic kind of music of the 80s and stuff, but I felt like that kind of threw me off a little bit. If anything was jarring, was the music, and I just wasn't feeling it for this film. But that's kind of like about it. And I guess the predictability, I mean, a lot of people I think are gonna get like, okay, this is where it's going, but I think the ride is what's so enjoyable, getting to our destination. Jordan could do a lot of like tropes, and he could have went certain routes, but I love how he kind of just holds back and says, okay, I could have went this route, but let's try another route and make it a little bit more not something that you don't expect to happen. And there's a lot of expectations, but it never happens. It goes another route, and it's very enjoyable when he goes a different way. I think it's going to be a classic 20 years down the line. I really feel like it is more of a thriller than it has a lot of horror aspects to it. And it has some beautiful visuals, especially when Chris is involved with some stuff with Rose's mother. But man, it is executed so well, so well, and I recommend it highly. If you haven't seen Get Out, you gotta go watch it. I'm so surprised Jordan came up with all this and just directed this. And you know what? Kudos to him, man. I'm a fan now. I'm a fan of his. If he does another horror, I'm a fan. I want to see what he does next. I wasn't a big fan of Keanu, but I am a big fan of this film, and I think this film just nailed it, and it deserves it. It deserves all the praise it can get. Also, just want to say a lot of freaking it's in your face. It's in your face, especially with the racial things that happen in this film. Really in your face. I mean, he's surrounded by white people, and the uncomfortability and the awkwardness. That's what it is about this film. So they really use that in a film, and usually I'm like, oh, really, are we gonna play the racism card again in this film? But this film actually really worked. You think there's tropes in here, and there somewhat is, but it's switch. It turns you upside down your head. So it's so good. It's a great film. So check it out. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you've seen Get Out yet, it's a fantastic movie. But did you agree? And like I always say, guys, grab a tick, grab a seat. Make sure you got some good popcorn. See you at the cinema. Bye, guys.